I think Mermel's going to destroy this one. I don't think anybody really cares about Photon, and I don't see Lightsworns losing this.
Lloyd, take off your hat in respect. Respect for the dead? You two dipsticks ain't gonna last 10 seconds.
Okay, guys, we are here, episode 2 of Create a Card. Man, it's been a minute since episode 1, and we have a lot to talk about. You know, things from manipulating the votes and having to reset the thing from square one. Things like huge upsets, obviously, as you guys saw from the intro. We got some big ones to talk about. And where this is heading. You know, are we going to keep seeing people troll to get the good decks gone? Because, I mean, like, some of these decks are going to need more than just one card to be relevant, guys. And why are we wasting some votes? I don't know. We're going to talk about it, though. We're going to talk about my predictions from last video and how wrong I was and how right I was. And we're going to talk about predictions for the next set. And we're in the final 8, guys. You know, we had 16 decks. Now we're at 8. We'll be back whenever we're down to 4. Let's just go ahead and discuss everything, I guess. Let's jump right into it, guys. All right, let's just jump right into the results, I guess. Match 1, Weather versus Gradle. This was one that actually got reset because round 2, or I should say match 2, caused us to have to reset the voting, but we'll get to that when we get to match 2. The first time around, the Weathers beat Gradle, and the second times around, whenever they reset it all, Weather still beat Gradle. So, guys, Gradle lost twice. It's the only deck in this that has lost twice. Must suck to have been on the Gradle bandwagon. But the Weather has definitely taken the win of match 1 with a whopping 9,966 votes to Gradle's 8,150. I pretty much think I called this in my last video. You know, Gradles aren't really necessarily anything super popular. The Weathers, they're kind of kitty looking, and there's a lot of people that like kitty artwork, so I'm not too surprised by this one. But moving on to match 2, the big controversy. Inzectors versus Valkyries. So for those of you out of the loop who haven't been paying attention to this thing, Valkyries actually won the first time around, but there was a lot of proof, I guess, you know, screenshots of different times where Valkyries jumped up out of nowhere. So apparently there was proof that they were using bots to get extra votes, and they redid the whole thing just in case that happened to Gradles too. And Inzectors ended up destroying them the second time around with 12,006 votes to 7,071 votes. I'm not too surprised. I was really surprised when Valkyries won the first time. So now that they went back and redid it, I'm not too surprised. I said Inzectors were probably going to win it. So not too surprising. Moving on to the next one. Match 3. Fire Kings versus X-Sabers. I believe I said I thought X-Sabers were going to win. And I was correct. X-Sabers had 7,001 to Fire Kings 6,423. And it's really funny because this chart makes it look like Fire Kings or X-Sabers destroyed the Fire Kings, but like they were actually really close. This chart like is super zoomed in. It was like Fire King almost had 48%, and X-Saber almost had 52%. So we're talking like a 4% margin here. So that might have been the closest one, but moving on. Photons versus Mermels. The first upset of the series, guys. Mermel lost by quite a bit, over 4,000 votes, guys. It was 10,840 to 6,565. I don't think anyone saw this coming, but I guess Photons, I don't know. At least Photons aren't just awful. Maybe a card could break them because they do have that one trap card that like negates everything on the chain. So maybe we'll see something to make this like maybe competitive. But I don't know. Moving on though. Frogs versus TG. Frogs took the W with 10,000 votes to 7,799. Yeah, TGs were popular, I think, back in the day, but like frogs are still like in the meta kind of with paleo. So not too shocking there. I think actually, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that I think frogs could benefit the most out of any deck right now with one card, just because they're already in the meta. So just create a card, and when I say in the meta, they're like a rogue strategy, or maybe tier 3. You know, but they're still there though. Maybe getting one more support card could make them move up to tier 2 or maybe even tier 1 status. So it might be nice if frogs can make it through the next 2-3 rounds and get the W all the way through. Uh, Fortune Lady versus Hazy Flame pretty much hit the nail right here with the hammer. Said Hazy Flame wasn't gonna win, but even this one was really close. This one was basically 40 to 60%. Hazy Flame lost. It was 5,710 to 7,837. So, and then Sylvan versus Cyber Angel. Sorry about that. Cyber Angels lost to Sylvan. Sylvan had 8,092 votes compared to Cyber Angels 6,793 votes. And then the one with I think the most votes was Dynamist versus Lightsworn. And guys, Dynamist took it. I think everybody just hates Lightsworns or loves Lightsworns. And I think there's just more haters than there are lovers. As somebody who loves Dynamist, and I do love Dynamist, I didn't even vote in this one because I'm going to be honest, I completely forgot to vote for this. And I'm shocked. Like I had no doubt in my mind that Lightsworn was going to win this. And they didn't. I thought they were going to win the whole thing, to be honest with you. But here they are losing to Dynamist round 1. Huge upset. And that's pretty much it, guys. Like that's the results. So we're gonna have to see where this goes. The matchups going into round 2 are gonna be Weather Painters versus Dynamist, Sylvan versus Insector, X-Sabers versus Fortune Ladies, and Frogs versus Photons. So let's go over predictions here, guys. So half my predictions were right and half of them were wrong, it seemed like. So I'm gonna kind of try to look into this a little bit and see what I think. Dynamist had a lot more votes, I believe, than Weather Painter. Let me double check on that real quick. Yeah, Weather only had 9,966 to Dynamist having 14,000. So now, granted, people are going to be flipping now. You know, they're not going to be voting for the same decks as much. But I think Dynamist has a huge chance to beat Weather. I really would not be shocked either way on this. But if I had to choose, I'm going to choose Dynamist for this. Sylvan versus Insector. Insector. I think Insector needs to win this. I think Insector has the best chance of, if out of these two, whichever one wins, being competitive. It'll probably be Insector. X-Sabers versus Fortune Lady. I'm gonna give it to X-Sabers. I think X-Sabers once again has, just like Insectors, the highest chance out of the two decks of being meta relevant. Frog versus Photon. This one's really hard for me. I'm gonna say Frog just because I want Frogs to win, but I think either one of these have the best chance of like I think they're about equal in the sense of who could benefit from getting a card, especially if the card is like super good. So guys, that's gonna be my predictions. I don't want to predict who's gonna win the whole thing anymore because my guess was Lightsworn, and we all saw how that went. But I think out of all the decks, the one that really has the best chance of like being meta relevant if they get a card, it's probably Frogs or Photons, maybe Insectors. I don't think any of the other ones will ever be meta relevant off of just one card. Now, that's not to say that it can't happen. We have seen cards come out that made archetypes relevant on their own. You know, But with how the game has adapted, where it's not just archetype based anymore, like you do have your archetypes, but you basically play like 6 archetype cards and then a bunch of generic splashable cards. I don't really see any of these decks being able to move forward off of just a 1 card bump. But guys, that's my predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit that like and subscribe. Check out any of the other videos I have. Check out the links below. Check out our merch. Check out our Instagram, our Twitter, Cozy Singles, all that fun stuff. Catch you guys later. Next Air is now.